Attention please, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching, yes, the Yankees Entertainment and Sports Network.
It's a little overcast here in Toronto tonight, but the Rogers Center roof is closed, and it is time for baseball. As the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. Tonight, it's the New York Yankees against the Toronto Blue Jays in the middle game of a three-game set from Rogers Center in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball. Along with Outliner, I'm Michael K. Tough loss in the first game of the series by the Yankees 3-1, but really no fault at all to Chase Whitley, who started the game and gave the Yankees 7 outstanding innings.
Chase Whitley's second good start, Michael, since being called up from AAA. And last night, this is a good Toronto Blue Jay baseball team, especially offensively. And I'll tell you this, what I liked about Chase Whitley, really had a great combination of using all three pitches. 7 innings, no runs, and 6 strikeouts. Really baffled the hitters. In the 8th inning in a 1-1 game, Betances comes on. A great play by Chase Headley. Here, Russell Martin down the line, saving the run across the diamond. Garrett Jones does not come up with it, an eventual Blue Jay win.
Well, let's move on to tonight. Tonight's pitching matchup brought to you by People's United Bank, NA. See what know-how can do for you. Marco Estrada is going to move from the bullpen into the starting rotation tonight for the Blue Jays. And for the Yankees, it's Michael Pineda. The big right-hander has been very good for the Yankees. They've won 4 of his 5 starts. He's 3-0.
Yeah, one of the best pitchers in the American League, and I love the way Michael Pineda's been pitching. You talk about a guy that's emerging as a 3-pitch pitcher, and we talk about it often. He's got the great slider, great changeup. Ended up pitching in the 6th inning here, an eventual extra inning loss that the Yankees had. Big blow there by Kevin Kiermaier, the 5 2/3, 2 runs. Look at Michael Pineda, when he's down in the zone, he's as tough as anybody to hit.
He really is, and he gets strikeouts and doesn't walk people, and that leads us to the Honda League leaders. Incredible numbers here. Bartolo Colon of the Mets has 25 strikeouts and 1 walk. Michael Pineda has 32 strikeouts and 2 walks. A 16-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. Just outstanding, and in second place in Major League Baseball. All right, you're all set for tonight's game. Edwin Encarnacion is going to be in that game. When we come back, lineups, first pitch, baseball, Yankees and the Jays coming up next, right here on Yes. Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Blimpie. Try one of the new oven-fired artisan flatbread sandwiches. Blimpie, America's Sub Shop. By TriStateGMC.com. And by RE/MAX. Nobody sells more real estate than RE/MAX. All right, the roof is closed, as we mentioned. The Blue Jays have taken the field, so why don't we take a look now at the Yankees starting lineup. Will be presented, as always, by our good friends at Lexus. Yankees coming in 16-10, and they will lead off their red-hot center fielder, Jacoby Ellsbury. Brett Gardner in left field will bat second. Batting third and DHing Alex Rodriguez. Mark Teixeira at first base will clean up. Batting fifth and catching Brian McCann. Carlos Beltran's in right field. He'll bat sixth. Batting seventh, playing second base, Stephen Drew. Didi Gregorius, the shortstop, will bat eighth. Batting ninth and playing third base, it's Gregorio Petit.
On the mound for the Blue Jays, Marco Estrada, the 31-year-old right-hander, originally drafted in the 6th round by the Washington Nationals back in 2005 at Long Beach State. You see his numbers this year. That's all out of the bullpen, and we'll talk about it during the game. The problem with the Blue Jays so far, it has been pitching, especially starting pitching. They're 13th in the American League in ERA. Let's take a look at the pitcher scout report brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. Gives up the long ball. Last year with Milwaukee, he had the most home runs given up, 29 of them. He gave up as a starter, 27 of them, 2 in the bullpen. Very good changeup. He's not going to overpower the Yankee hitters. He throws right at about 88 to 90. His changeup is his out pitch. He throws it 36% of the time at a clip of a 111 batting average. And then kid down opportunity knocks. I mentioned about the rotation. The Blue Jays just sent down the young phenom Daniel Norris, who's a bit wild, is sent to AAA, and now Estrada's getting an opportunity to see if he can stick in this Toronto Blue Jay starting rotation.
Let's check out the Blue Jays defense presented by Geico. In the outfield, you've got Colabello, who they just called up, Pilar and Carrera left to right in the outfield. In the infield, third to first will go Donaldson, Gomes, Travis, and Smoke. Behind the plate, Russell Martin, a big pinch hit single yesterday that won the game. And Al told you all about Marco Estrada on the mound. Jacoby Ellsbury getting ready, and he is in the box doing some housekeeping. He's set. So is Estrada. And let's do it here in Toronto. First pitch is a strike, and we're underway. Ed Hickok's the home plate umpire. Toby Basner at first. The crew chief, Dana DeMuth, is at second, and Mike Estabrook is the third base ump. Ellsbury, 15 for his last 30, has a 7-game hitting streak. Fouled away. In his last 8 games here at Rogers Center, Ellsbury hitting .469.
You talk about an igniter, Michael. Jacoby Ellsbury along with Brett Gardner, they've been on base an awful lot. You look at the .342 batting average.
And that goes up a little bit higher. Another hit for Jacoby Ellsbury. Well, he's the threat to go, of course, and that'll bring up Gardner.
Between the two of them, Michael, Ellsbury with 9 stolen bases and Gardner 8. 17 of the 19 stolen bases that the Yankees have so far.
One and 0. Donaldson on the lip of what would be the infield grass. Smoke holds on Ellsbury at first. Quick move to first. Very strange stretch approach as he's getting the sign. Kind of like an open stance in the batter's box.
Well, for some guys want to stay closed as a pitcher because it gives you better direction to go to home plate. But in this case with Marco Estrada, he's wide open toward first base. And then when he comes set, it enables him, Michael, to keep his shoulder from not pinching toward first base. And a lot of times you'll see right-handers get called for a balk because of that.
Well, Ellsbury bluffed, or he started and get a good jump and stop. Count 1-1.
Yeah, that's a change up there. You see the bluff right here Michael's talking about. That's an aggressive move. Good runners do to try to rush the pitcher. If the pitcher rushes his delivery, generally the theory is that the ball will be up because he'll let the ball go a little sooner.
Now 2-2.
Yeah, just blew it by him right there. It'll be interesting early on how the Yankees approach Estrada. Here's a guy who's going to have about a 75 pitch count limit because he's been in the bullpen and really hasn't worked that deep. And they're conscious of his changeup. Even in fastball counts, Marco Estrada will still throw his changeup.
Count 3-2. Let's see if Ellsbury goes on 3-2. There he goes. Fouled away.
There it is right there. The 3-2 count, change up. That right there in the first inning, Marco Estrada is establishing for all those Yankee hitters to see his approach. You see the grip in his hand. That's the circle change. Out in front, 3-2 count. Doesn't matter. The Yankee hitters are going to see 2-0, 2-1, 3-1. In this case, 3-2 to Gardner. Just getting enough to foul it off.
Again fouled back.
Getting his sprints in.
There he goes again, and another foul ball.
You saw that time at that shot that we had. Ellsbury's shorter lead, getting a good jump because of it. Watch the short lead, making it look like, okay, I'm not going, but on the move. So far early in the year here, the Blue Jays have been very good. Caught stealing 11 out of 12. It's not only a testament to Russell Martin, but also pitching staff keeping the runners close.
Really battling. Well, he might get to a 70 pitch count shortly.
I think it's 75, but yeah, these are those battles where I always felt like a pitcher, just you've got to continue to make pitches. And when Brett Gardner continues to see, he's throwing 2 pitches so far. He's throwing a fastball and a changeup, and it's not overpowering.
That time, Ellsbury did not go. Maybe he was just fatigued. This time he goes, and another foul ball. Well, now Gardner, we'll see pitch number 11, same as the number on his bat. There he goes. That one is lined into right center. It is a base hit. Ellsbury stopped to see it fall. Goes to third. Going to second for the double is Gardner. Overslides, but reconnects with the bag for the double. Hustling double there by Brett Gardner running out of the box. And the Yankees have runners in second and third and nobody out.
The designated hitter.
Wow, great job by Brett Gardner. You see Ellsbury on the go. He slows down to make sure that his angle, he's seeing that Ezekiel Carrera, the right fielder, cannot field it, easily get in the third. But impressed with Brett Gardner. Watch him. This is a 3-2 curveball. Talking about the fastball changeup. First curveball he's thrown. Did not hesitate. You see him pick up speed there. Getting in rather easily. Nice hustle by Brett Gardner.
All right, now that'll bring up A-Rod. Alex last night 0 for 4, also wrapped into a double play. Infield is back at short and second, in at the corners. Yankees looking to get on the board early. Just underway here in Toronto. Ellsbury's at third, Gardner at second. A-Rod sitting at 660 home runs, and this was the one that tied Willie Mays. Swinging on a 3-0 pitch, a laser over the monster. For him, it was 660, and also tied him with Willie Mays for fourth place on the all-time list. Line drive down the left field line. It is a base hit. Ellsbury scores. Gardner right behind him. He'll score. A-Rod's going for two. The throw not in time. It's a 2-run double for A-Rod, and the Yankees have a 2-0 lead.
Well, off to a quick start. The Yankees change up in the zone. Alex stays back. Middle. See, he's out in front. A little fooled, but able to get the barrel of the bat on the ball. Nice job of hitting. Fifth double on the year. 16th RBI. Applying the pressure. Ellsbury and Gardner. Hustle, movement, getting pitcher to think about the runners. 2-0 Yanks.
Here's Mark Teixeira. Yankees last night 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position, so they cash in on their first opportunity tonight. Three infielders on the right side. Now, there were some questions, and we raised them yesterday in the 8th inning with Garrett Jones remaining at first base. How come Mark Teixeira didn't come in? And Joe Girardi revealed today that Teixeira's been battling a little bit of a lat issue, but he is in the starting lineup tonight. Right back to Estrada, and he has A-Rod hung up. And A-Rod gets tagged out. So he scored at 1-5 for the first out. Alex is not that fast anymore, but he's usually a very good base runner. That's a base running mistake right there.
Yeah, that's right, Michael. I'm curious at this secondary lead. You see how he's pretty close. 1-2 hop. Ball snagged. He's too far. I don't know whether, perhaps, I'll tell you what, with the shift, Michael, I think with the shortstop being where he was and Ryan Goins, normally that shuffle step with, watch here, he's not that far. He turns around. I think he thought he couldn't beat Goins back to second base. That's where he got snagged. The shift actually put the shortstop in a closer position to second base.
So Teixeira's on first base with the fielder's choice, and here's Brian McCann. Martin got the big pinch hit in the 8th inning yesterday. Did not start the game. That was Josh Tolley. Now from the National League, these two have experience together, and McCann 5 for 11 against Estrada. High fly ball down the right field line. Travis in foul territory goes a long way to make the play for the second out. Well, let's look at the game time weather presented by Bigelow Tea. The roof has been closed all day. Kind of hot in here, but outside it's 59 degrees, wind 6 miles per hour, humidity 40%, and it is overcast outside.
Sticky, right?
They're not investing in the
air
conditioning early in the season.
It is muggy in here.
Here's Carlos Beltran. Estrada really deliberate on the mound. He does not have a base stealing threat at first. The 1-0. Now, Al, I know you like to know about these little statistical bits of minutia. After that pitch, this game is now as long as last night's complete 9 innings.
It does feel a little slow pace, right? When baseball's trying to quicken the pace here, you have a guy struggling right away. I mean, that's the reality. An 11 pitch at bat, Brett Gardner.
1-1. 1-2. Last night's game was just 2 hours and 18 minutes. Good pitching will make for a quicker pace game. And both Chase Whitley and R.A. Dickey were dealing. And the 1-2. Just missed. All of the Blue Jays kind of listed to their right as they're about to go to the dugout.
Now, home plate umpire Ed Hickox. Let's take a look here. Fastball in. I don't believe it's high. It looks belt high. In off the plate a little. You saw the home plate umpire Ed Hickox gesturing that the ball was in.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Estrada deals. Fly ball center field. Pilar is there. He'll make the play. But the Yankees put a 2 spot on the board. How did they do it? Top of the order. Red hot Jacoby Ellsbury. Then Gardner. And then A-Rod brings him home with a double. Yankees 2, Blue Jays coming back. Take a look at the Blue Jays starting up. Devin Travis, the second baseman, will lead off. Batting second, playing third, Josh Donaldson. Former Yankee Russell Martin will catch and hit third. Cleaning up the DH, Edwin Encarnacion. Justin Smoke at first base will bat fifth. Batting sixth, playing center field, Kevin Pilar. Chris Colabello, who just called up, he'll be in left field, batting seventh. The number 8 hitter is the shortstop, Ryan Goins. And Ezekiel Carrera is in right field, batting ninth.
Michael Pineda on the mound, the 26-year-old right-hander, signed by the Mariners in 2005 as a 16-year-old. He's done a very good job since trade. I know he's been injured, and then now he's back. Here you see the 3.73 ERA. Let's take a look at the pitcher scatter report, brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. He is a strike thrower. Throws an awful lot of strikes. In his 5 starts, 31 in the third innings, he's given up only 2 walks, 32 strikeouts. Slider, changeup combination. He's got a good fastball, not overpowering, but the slider changeup with lefty-right is been awesome. An extra day's rest, Michael, When he's had an extra day's rest in 18 career starts, his ERA is 2.25. On the normal 4 days rest, the 5-man rotation's 3.7. It's almost a run and a half difference with the extra day's rest.
Grounded to first. Nice snare on the backhand there by Teixeira. One away.
Wow. Great play. Here at the Rogers Center, this is a new AstroTurf, and we talked about it last night. The surface is very slow. That was a hot smash right here. Watch Teixeira off the line playing pull for Travis. Excellent play. Many of the hitters, mostly obviously the home team, because this is where they play, the ball is real slow. We saw a lot of balls, Michael, that were hit either to the outfield that didn't get past the outfielders, or balls in the infield that were slowed down. Very unusual for AstroTurf. You'd think it'd be quicker. Not here.
There had been some talk about installing grass at this ballpark, because you open the roof and you get the sunlight. Deep drive to right field. Beltran back, and he'll make the play for the second out. But they've elected to go with a new AstroTurf field. Meredith has more information on that. Welcome, Meredith.
Hi, Michael. The plan is for the Blue Jays to install that field potentially in 2018. They just replaced this AstroTurf with this, and they feel as though that will get them to 2018. And they're doing studies right now to see exactly what it will take to put in actual turf here and to maintain it. And as far as how the Yankees players feel about this turf, they said actually walking on it feels a little bit weird. It's a little squishy, and it almost feels like you're unstable, even though you're not. But as far as picking up the ball and the way it bounces, they haven't had an issue with that.
Russell Martin cracks one to right center field, and it gets past Beltran and goes to the wall. Martin will stop at second with a double. So 3 pretty well hit balls against Michael Pineda, but 2 outs and a runner at second.
A smart veteran hitter, Russell Martin. They know he's getting strikes. This is 5 pitches, 5 strikes. That is a fastball down the middle. 5th double for Russell Martin. Splits the gap in right center. Beltran can't get to it. I mean, that would be the approach. You're facing a guy, Michael Pineda, who just pounds the zone. You get a strike early.
Here's Edwin Encarnacion. Bautista with the night off. First base is open. There's strike. You know what got me about that story that Meredith just told out? So they want to put grass in by 2018. Are they growing each blade individually? I mean, that's a lot of years.
Well, no, but there's an investment out here. I don't know what this turf costs, but I'm sure they're going to try to get their money's worth.
Of 3 years? Count 0-2.
The other part of it, I mean, there's less stadiums with turf. The problem with turf is when you play every day, guys get bad backs and knees, and it's hard on the body standing there every day doing what baseball players do, running balls down.
Count 1-2 to Encarnacion. He has a 7-game hitting streak. Now we are told by our Canadian friends here in the booth that the Toronto Argonauts of the Canadian Football League need to find a new place to play. They can't play on the regular grass. They have to play on the artificial turf. So once they find that spot, then they will transition the grass. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Pitch. Swing and a foul tip into the glove of McCann, and that'll do it here in the first. No run to hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. Let's go to the second. It's 2-0 Yankees. Toyota. Toyota is the official hybrid vehicle of the Yankees. Here's how we started the conversation. Which 1-2 punch is more important to the Yankees and why? Is it Ellsbury and Gardner or Betances and Miller? Tough one. A. Pablito said Betances and Miller because they don't have 7 other guys to pick up the slack if they're having trouble.
Boy, that is a good question.
That's a great answer, too.
With the way Betances and Miller have been pitching, shorten the game, making it a lot harder on opposing teams.
Follow Yes Network and tweet us your responses using hashtag Yankees Camry Hybrid to keep the conversation going. Here's Stephen Drew, 3 hits in his last 33 at-bats. Yankees lead 2-0. Shift is on. 3 infielders on the right side. And there's a strike. There's going to be another infielder thrown into the mix tomorrow. He's at the ballpark already. Jose Perella, who's been on the DL with a concussion, is here, not activated. And no one's tipping their hand, but it would seem like he would be replacing Gregorio Petit. The 1-1. 1-2.
You know, looking at the numbers, Stephen Drew, Michael, he's 0 for 20 his last 20 at-bats against right-handed pitching. 294 against lefties, 105 against righties. You know, just complete opposite. You know, left-handed hitters should hit right-handers and vice versa.
It's going to be a tough call for Joe Girardi. I mean, how long can you go with a guy who's now hitting 147? Meredith, you have more on Perella?
Well, Michael, time for tonight's injury report brought to you by Montefiore Medical Center Inspired Medicine. And you see Jose Perella right there, 8 rehab games, hitting .364. Most recently, he was with AAA Scranton Wilkes-Barre, where he hit .579 in 4 games. And you mentioned how long can you go with Drew, who's really been struggling offensively. Well, Perella has been playing primarily second base and third base down there in the minors. So it would give Joe Girardi another option at second base. And if Perella hits well when he's given opportunities up here, that could kind of force Joe Girardi's hand a little bit, and he can also move Stephen Drew over to shortstop as well. So the plan right now is for him to be activated tomorrow. He said Petit probably the guy that's going to go.
Well, Didi Gregorius, if he was in front of a court of law, could say, I'm hitting 66 points more than Stephen Drew. Now, Stephen Drew could say, I have 4 home runs. And I drive in runs. But you got to have some balance in the line. You can't have the bottom of the lineup just be automatic outs.
Yeah, I mean, I think the issue comes to this, Michael, is, you know, how long do you go with, you know, the way it's set up? And I think, you know, for the most part, you'd like to get to 100 at-bats and see what it looks like. And I know, you know, the numbers right now, with the 147 batting average Drew, and now Didi's at 213. Somewhere along the line, you add a Perella, you know, it just creates a better competitive infield competition.
Well, here's how Perella got injured. It was at Tradition Field against the Mets. Trying to make a play in center field. And he really hurt himself when he went down to the ground. Not the hit on the wall, but when he fell to the ground and his head smashed there. Suffered a concussion. Took him a while to get over it, but now he is, and he's here. And will be activated tomorrow. Here's Petit. You wonder if he's feeling any pressure, trying to read the tea leaves. And what happens if he has a great game tonight? Also, you said something yesterday, Al, that makes a lot of sense. You hang with guys that are slumping, that aren't hitting up to the back of their baseball card because you're in first place and playing well.
Yep.
So that kind of serves as a deodorant for everything else. But you want to continue to play well, and you want to ensure that, so it's something to have to look into. Dribbled slowly to third. Donaldson charges, bare hands, fires over the head of Smoke, and it bounces into the seats as Petit gets a single and will move to second on the E5.
Well, Oh, this is a tough play. You see where Donaldson is playing, coming up strong. He fields it with his bare hand, rushing to throw, not even close. I don't put it in his back pocket. It looked like Petit was in there easily.
And he's a very good third baseman, so.
Well, we talked about it last night about range and how players get errors because they get to balls that normally somebody else wouldn't get to, and we saw with Headley last night, he was charged with an error because of the advancing of the runners.
Ellsbury pops it up, shallow left. Going to be a long run for all three, and no one makes the play, but it falls untouched in foul territory. Colabello could not get there.
Boy, almost similar hit that Encarnacion had against Betances, except it was fair last night. Chris Colabello just called up from AAA, not a fastest guy. That ball was fouled by about a foot. Giving Ellsbury another chance.
Ellsbury's single in the first extended his hitting streak to 8 straight. Ground ball inside third and down the left field line. That'll score Petit. Ellsbury makes a big turn. He'll stop at first. He is red hot. 17 for his last 32.
Home plate umpire called balk before the pitch, but once he releases it, it's still an active ball. Well, listen to Ted Hicksock. That's what he does here.
Did you see the ball?
Yeah, there was a slight little movement. As a pitcher, just balked. Obviously, the play continues, and Ellsbury's smart. Swing at it.
Because if he had made it out, then it's a ball.
Right. I mean, it's a free hit, swing, throw.
Ellsbury goes. Martin can't handle the pitch. Ellsbury with a stolen base.
Watch Marco Estrada here. He's got the wide stance, which is unorthodox, and then he comes set, and there's a slight little movement with his glove. Watch when he gets set here, and then there's just this little right there, ever so slight.
Now the 2 leg lifts, that's his normal move, so he does not get called on a balk for that.
Yeah, once a pitcher comes set and stops, you have to then start your delivery to go home. You can't move any part of your body, literally. It's a balk.
See, now there's one set, and then he moves it again. For another pitcher, that would be a balk.
Now from here, Michael, he can't do anything that is what be perceiving to deceive the runner.
It's got to be his natural set. And for you older baseball fans, when Louis Tiant would keep moving, that's a balk for a pitcher who doesn't do that all the time. But since that was his normal move, he was allowed to do that. Gardner gets a new bat. Count 1-2. Fly ball left center. Long run for Pilar. And he hauls it in for the final out. Good jump, showing a lot of range. 1 run, 2 hits, 1 error, 1 man left. 3-0 Yankees, bottom of the second. Night at Yankee Stadium on Sunday, May 24th, when the Yankees take on the Rangers. Prior to the game, the Yankees will celebrate the career of 4-time world champion Bernie Williams with a special ceremony where the Yankees will retire his number 51 and dedicate a plaque in historic Monument Park. For tickets, visit Yankees.com or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849 today. Three 0 Yankees lead as we go to the bottom of the second inning here in Toronto. Stevie Donahue and Joe Girardi talking about life. Justin Smoke in there against Michael Pineda. Now the Blue Jays are without their hitting coach, Brooke Jacoby, for the second game of a 14-game suspension. An awfully long suspension. He had an altercation with the umpires following a game in Boston. And although 14 games would indicate that he pushed them or there was some contact, he's saying he didn't. Edwin Encarnacion said, I was there. He didn't touch him. He said security was there, and they would tell you he didn't touch him. But Brooke Jacoby, the hitting coach, suspended 14 games for that altercation.
I got the same information, Michael. When I saw that, Brooke Jacoby, you know, in Fenway, it's a little unusual because when the game's over, the umpires share the same runway back to where the umpires have their clubhouse and also the visiting team.
Line drive right at Gregorius, 1 away.
Yeah, I saw the 14 days. I thought that was pretty serious stuff, but we'll find out.
Let's check out the Yankee defense presented by Geico. Gardner, Ellsbury, and Beltran in the outfield, left to right. Petit, Gregorius, Drew, and Teixeira. That's third to first. McCann behind the plate. And Michael Pineda is on the mound. The place has been standing since 1912. That's a problem waiting to happen. And if you've ever been in that runway, you couldn't stand in the runway, put your arms out, and unlock your elbows.
And jump.
There's no way. I mean, it was built for people in 1912. And to have the umpires there after a hotly contested game in that same small runway, not a good recipe. The 0-1. Ground ball in the hole, backhanded by Gregorius. The long throw, got him. 2 away.
Great play. Didi Gregorius going a long way here. Petit not able to get his C off the bag. Petit was, and then Didi Gregorius getting that ball, and then a strong throw. Excellent play. Watch here, on the run and then throwing it backwards. Perfect strike to Mark Teixeira. Pineda liking it.
Here's Chris Colabello. Jonathan Diaz sent down to make room for Colabello. A little short on outfielders. Michael Saunders had his knee drained, but he's still on the active list. So they bring up Colabello, and you see what he's doing down in Buffalo. Got off to a great start.
How about that Buffalo, the AAA for the Blue Jays? Can you get any closer of all the AAA teams? I know Scranton is close, a couple hours, what, to Yankee Stadium?
About 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Maybe 2. There's a base hit to left field. So from Buffalo to Toronto, the hot streak continues. Now I want to get this right. Meredith knows Scranton-Wilkes-Barre. So how long is it Yankee Stadium to Scranton-Wilkes-Barre?
2 hours.
Less than 2 hours.
Less than 2 hours,
But
I think, when I'm driving.
Right.
So
you have a
maybe
heavy
it's
foot.
recommended that it should be a little bit more than 2 hours.
Okay.
Let's get the mileage.
Here's Ryan Goins filling in at shortstop for the injured Jose Reyes, who has a cracked rib. Should be out another month.
The plays he made yesterday, great plays. Rollins.
What a great opportunity for Michael Pineda. This is his chance to be the ace of the staff. With Tanaka on the DL, he is right now the ace of the staff. And so far he's lived up to that, giving the Yankees a good chance to win every time they play. We mentioned at the Open, they've won 4 of the 5 games he started, and the 1 game they lost was the extra inning game. You have the mileage there, Al?
120 miles or so from Scranton, 127. Buffalo's 98 miles.
So 127 for somebody not Meredith is about 2 hours. Meredith, the speed limit's usually 55.
No, it's not. Back in the 70s.
You're out of your mind. There's some places that are 65. There are a lot that are 55.
But Mike, don't you get at least a 10 mile per hour, 15 mile per hour cushion there?
No, not 15.
No,
Stay under 10.
Not 15. If you're under 2 hours, you got a lot more than a 10 mile per hour cushion.
I think it might be 60, 65 in those parts. A lot of cornfields around, not a lot of police activity. Have you ever made the trip?
Yes, I have. It took me about 2 hours. Grounded to first. It's a fair ball. And Teixeira steps on the bag for the final out. No runs, a hit, no errors, 1 man left. We'll call up New Jersey State Troopers, see exactly what the deal is with Meredith. The #1 live streaming sports service is celebrating 13 years. Watch every out-of-market game live or on demand in true HD on over 400 mobile and connected devices, real-time highlights, live look-ins, a pitch tracking widget, and more. Every night on every device. Blackout restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. A-Rod will lead it off here in the third inning. Yankees up 3-0 over Toronto. John Gibbons, the manager of the Blue Jays, came out and spoke with Ed Hickox, questioning whether that was a fair ball or not that ended the inning, but Hickox said it was. Kobe Basner made the call, and John Gibbons went back to the dugout. Here's A-Rod, drove in 2 runs in the first inning. Alex now with 6 homers and 16 ribbies. Got the breaking ball in there for a strike. Fly ball right center, drifting over Pilar, makes the play. On away. There's Mark Teixeira, hit one back to Estrada in the first inning, and they caught A-Rod between second and third. One 1-0. Estrada made 6 relief appearances this year. Last one was April 28th at Boston, and then they got him ready to start. As a starting pitcher in his career, 22-20 with a 4.20. As a reliever, 2-6, 4.03. Ground ball to Travis. A lot of the experts took a look at the way the Blue Jays were put together in spring training, and the big concern was the young pitching. And it looks as though they did not have a long leash on those young pitchers. They struggled, and they got them out of here. Same thing with the bullpen, and that's why you're seeing a guy like Estrada starting.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you know, when you look at the way they assembled this team, and I thought with Josh Donaldson coming over, you talk about a middle of the lineup thump with Batista, Encarnacion, and Donaldson. They really didn't address the rotation. Aaron Sanchez, I think, is going to be a front-end starter, but young, not inexperienced. Stroman going down with his elbow and end up having to have surgery.
It was a base hit from McCann.
Actually, it was his knee that tore up, but he was looking at, you know, Marcus Stroman being their ace at least 1-2. And I know Burley's been around a long time. We saw Dickey last night, who pitched a good game. There's Aaron Sanchez. They send down their pitcher, minor league pitcher of the year last year, Dan Norris. Just has not been consistent. And that's where you're at. And there's a reason why the Blue Jays are at the bottom, because of the starting rotation and the bullpen. When you're 13th in the American League in ERA coming into tonight, that's not good.
There's Beltran. 0-1. Beltran with a fly ball to center in the first, hitting an even 200. McCann with a tiny lead off first, held by Smoke. Two on Beltran.
Carlos Beltran looked good last night. He had the big double, scored a run, a couple fly balls, but hit the ball hard. I think he's starting to get close. The bat speed looks better. Tell it. You know, the results aren't there hits wise. Swing looks better. unlike a pitcher, of course, you have elbow surgery. He had chips taken out of his elbow. Beltran did. It's got to affect the way you swing a baseball match, especially with the violence of what a major league hitter has to do in regards to bat speed and whipping the bat through the zone.
Well, he keeps saying physically he feels fine as he goes down on strikes. 0 for 2 tonight. No runs, a hit, no errors, and one man left on base. Let's go to the bottom of the third. It's 3-0 Yanks. Including analysis of today's NBA and NHL playoff action. Don't miss Fox Sports Live tonight at 11. You can see it on Fox Sports 1 or stay tuned for the simulcast of Fox Sports Live immediately following Yankees coverage right here on Yes. All right, we go to the bottom of the third inning. Michael Pineda enjoying a 3-0 lead. Yankees with 2 in the first and 1 in the second. On the Audi A3 scoreboard, Yankees have 6 hits and the Blue Jays 2. And it'll be 9-1-2 in the Blue Jays order. Blue Jays are 13-14 on the year. The Yankees 16-10. Ezekiel Carrera will start it off. 4 hits and 7 at bats since being called up. Fastball is low. Petit in on what would be the grass at third. Carrera takes high, checks the swing. 2-0. Blue Jays in a 6-game homestand. 3 against the Yankees and 3 against Boston. Came off a 10-game road trip. They were 3-7 on that trip. We mentioned last night a lot of pressure on the Blue Jays to make the playoffs this year. They have not made the playoffs since 1993. Last time they won a World Series. And if you're old enough to remember, that's when this was considered the model franchise. They drew 4 million fans. They sold out all 81 home games. Won 2 World Series in a row, and then after that, the strike and the bottom fell out, and they've never recovered.
Yeah, it was an unbelievable time. I was able to be part of that period of time in '93 World Championship, and it really was, Michael, the blueprint for baseball teams to try to emulate.
Longest drought in baseball right now, 21 seasons, and Seattle's next in 13 years, so it's amazing. And they went out and spent some money this year, and they also acquired those big contracts the year before, and they have not made it. So I think their young GM, Alex Anthopoulos, and their longtime president in his second tour of duty here, Paul Beeston, their jobs could be on the line if this team doesn't make it into the postseason. And it's strange how that strike affected baseball. Slowly but surely, fans came back. But in Toronto, they never really forgave. It was weird. The team was never at that high level either, but they didn't miss a game. This was the place to be. This was like a big Broadway show every night.
From 1987 until the strike, this place was packed. And I say 87 at the old exhibition stadium, and then 89 this stadium opened. And from 1989, as I said, to the strike, this place was the place. 50,000 every night. But also too, Michael, this play, Toronto Blue Jays have to win. You know, now that the only Canadian team, Montreal Expos, is no longer in Major League Baseball, teams, players, you know, the money disperses around baseball. You know, to come up here, you have to, you know, entice a free agent. It's hard to get free agents here, and it's a great city. I was here 7 years. It's a beautiful city. But I think, you know, the majority, at least for U.S. baseball players, you know, they prefer to either be closer to their home, or the customs issue is a little bit harder traveling.
Now, Beeston has said he's leaving at the end of the year. He actually was almost out before this year because the Blue Jay ownership, the Rogers family, which is a big communication conglomerate all throughout Canada, they tried to hire Dan Duquette, the GM of the Orioles, and he could not get out of his contract. Peter Angelos, the owner of Baltimore, would not allow him out, but they wanted to hire him as the head of everything, and that's Beeston's job.
Yeah, Paul Beeston, one of the nicest man I've ever met, and you talk about somebody who really I believe created a family atmosphere, and from the bottom up, Michael, from the trainers, from the rookie ball team to Joe Carter, whoever the star was at the time, treated everybody the same. Great ownership.
Runner goes, foul back, and this team really is the national team. I mean, they drew 48,000 a game for 2 games, exhibition spring training games in Montreal. And their games are broadcast across this country. They're the national team. They're the only baseball team. Two. Let's see if the Yankees could turn 2. 2 quick runners. There's one on to first. Not in time. 93 the last year this team made the postseason, and look at that youngster on the mound.
My. About 20 pounds ago, Michael.
20?
Tell you, that was a big moment. Obviously, the World Series. Any time you get a chance to play in the World Series, but having been hurt when I was traded for Jesse Barfield from the Yankees, and basically spent a couple years on the DL, never forget it. Special years.
Also, you had those flowing locks out. Nice.
That was kind of the thing back then.
Yeah, it looked great. Long time ago, gallon of gas, $1.16. Those were the days. 29 cents price of a stamp. And the Blue Jays defeated the Phillies 4-2. You got a hit in that World Series, too.
I did. Off of Roger Mason. And that was before interleague and hitting.
So you had not hit since high school?
I did not hit since high school. Todd Stottlemyre started the game. I came in relief. It was like second inning. And I forgot I had to hit, you know, all the years of American League. They said, "Later, you're on deck." I used Ed Sprague's bat. I used John Olerud's gloves. I don't know whose helmet. First pitch, whacked it down the left field line.
Could you believe? I mean, did you just close your eyes and swing?
No, I saw it. So I'm running the second. John Kruk is trailing the play. He has like 3 hits at the time. It's game 4, and he is just yelling at me. It's not that easy. And Kruk, he's a great guy. I said, I know I haven't hit in 10 years since high school.
Oh, 2 to Donaldson. 1-2. Well, it must have been extra special for you, as you said, going through all the surgeries and the shoulder problems, and here you are pitching in the World Series and getting a ring.
I'll never forget that. So that game one, I got the win out of the pen, Michael, and I was standing on home plate. It was after the game, doing interviews, and Gordon Lakey, well-respected scout, terrific human being, came up to me during the interview and hugged me, a prolonged hug. And Gordon Lakey was Pat Gillick's right-hand man when it came to trades, and he followed me around while I was pitching with the Yankees. And really, the strength of his recommendation to Pat Gillick to trade for me for Jesse Barfield. And I'll never forget it. He was so happy for me and just everything that I went through. 2 shoulder operations. I thought I was done. Went back and got my college degree.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, runner on first base. Yankees up 3-0, bottom of the 3rd. Popped up. Stephen Drew drifts back. 2 outs. Well, that's what you did as a Blue Jay, out 26 and 24, 4.20. Won championships in 92 and 93, and then you left and made a lot of money as a free agent.
You know, I loved it here. I did sign with the Marlins as a free agent, but I really started figuring out that 93, 94 was kind of a disaster with the strike, and then 95.
Count 1-0.
Seems like another lifetime ago, Michael. When I even walking around the city here, a lot of great memories, but that's 20 years ago? Over 20 years ago?
22 years.
22 years.
Here's Russell Martin. This date is important to Russell. He made his major league debut as a Dodger at Dodger Stadium in 2006. He was Derek Lowe's battery mate that day. Batted 8th in the Dodger lineup. Here he is batting 3rd in the Blue Jay lineup. He was 2 for 4 in that game. A single and a double against Chris Capuano. Looks like he's going to get another double right now. Travis rounds 3rd. They're going to send him home. No, they hold him up. Quick play out there by Gardner to get it to Gregorius, and they held him up at 3rd.
Luis Rivera, the third base coach, had a good angle, came down the line. Gardner's got a strong throw, accurate throw, throws a bullet right to Didi Gregorius. Let's take a look. It rattles around. I thought with Travis's speed at that point, he just rounded the bag, and you see where the third base coach is. That's the angle the coach tries to get. Travis busted along, every intention to go. You see Rivera holding him up.
Were you surprised? I'm surprised they didn't wave him.
I thought with 2 outs, Michael, I thought with the speed of Travis, just you see he holds him up early. He actually holds him up before Gregorius gets the ball. I mean, you're talking about a transfer and then a long throw from Gregorius.
Maybe Rivera is thinking, I've got Encarnacion next. I don't want to end the inning with an out at home. 2nd and 3rd. 2 men out, and the cleanup hitter, Encarnacion, who struck out in the 1st, is at the plate. Popped up. Right side, long run for Teixeira. He's the only one with a chance, and he can't make the play. Beltran shaded toward right center, so he had no opportunity to get there.
That's a long run for Teixeira. I thought maybe if it had enough hang time, Stephen Drew, the quicker of the 3 runners, would have gotten to it, but that would have been a heck of a play. See it landing over in the brown turf area, almost up against the wall. Wow, he almost had it. And Beltran not nearly the speed as he once had. He made a heck of a play.
So, Encarnacion will get at least another swing. Count 0-1. 3-0. Yankees lead the Blue Jays. Hasn't allowed anything yet, Al, but I will tell you, from up here, he looks completely different than he has in recent starts. Not as sharp. Yep. He does not have the command. Just doesn't look as overpowering.
No, I'm with you. He started out with 5 consecutive strikes. He walked the number 9 batter, Ezekiel Carrera. Got behind 3-0, 3-1, and then walked him. That was only his 3rd walk, Michael. He had 2nd best walk to strikeout ratio to Bartolo Colon. That in itself is unusual. You have the number 9 hitter, a guy doesn't walk him, gets behind 3-0. So yeah, I agree with you. I think he's a little out of sorts. Just doesn't look comfortable.
Right off the end of the bat, fastball fouled back.
Late cut, Michael Pineda, since coming back from his surgery, throws a 4-seamer that cuts. I know Yankee fans know the Mariano Rivera cutter over the years, but that's his true fastball now. Pineda, the ball 92-ish that runs away from the right-hander.
1-2. Fly ball left field, long run for Gardner, and he makes the play, just holds on in the corner for the final out of the inning. So Gardner went a long way, and that ball really held up there. Would have scored 2 runs, but a little basket catch, and he just held onto the ice cream cone to end the inning. The Bombers and the Jays wrap up this 3-game set with another primetime matchup here from Toronto. Coverage on Yes starts at 6 with Audi batting practice today. And Tri-State 4 pregame, it's right here on Yes. So we go to the 4th inning after a nice running catch by Brett Gardner. The Lincoln scoreboard shows you the Yankees up 3-0. And Stephen Drew will lead it off the bottom of the Yankee order against Marco Estrada. Drew shows bunt, takes up and away. Steven 0 for his last 13, 3 for his last 34, averaging 147.
So that's the pitch right there. He's got a 1-0 count. I know Estrada's throwing backwards as far as change-up fastball. That pitch is a fastball down the middle at 89. And he takes it. That's the effectiveness of what a guy like Marco Estrada is trying to do. Low fastball, changeup. That combination, occasional curveball. So unless as a hitter you're sitting a pitch. Now, I don't know whether Drew's coming into this early in the count just looking changeup.
Blue Jays giving multiple signs. Not sure how the Yankees would steal signs here. with no one on base, unless they got a hotel room out there. I mean, how would the Blue Jays expect the Yankees to be stealing signs? When you play for the Blue Jays, did you ever stay there before you got an apartment? You did?
Yeah.
Long trip to work, huh?
Actually, really cool. Just elevator down.
Ground ball to second. Travis gets Drew.
You know, we talked about it last night about the insecurity, and I'll say it on my own personal opinion on that, because I was one of those pitchers that thought somebody was looking somewhere to take something, and as far as the signs were concerned. And I think what it does, Michael, if nothing else, the pitcher feels comfortable with not that distraction. You're doing multiple signs in this case. I can bet nothing's going on, but now it slows him down. Wiggle, 1, 2, wiggle. I don't know what that sequence is. We'll see here. A little change up. And it'll slow a pitcher down and also make him think. He's not just looking, get a sign, go. Get it one side, go. They go 1, 2, wiggle. Let's change up again. Yep.
I'll explain that to me, because I'm thinking you're on the mound. There's so much on your mind, and when they're going through multiple signs, how difficult is it?
Well, it depends on which sign. Obviously, we don't know what the sign is, but I used to do, first sign after a number, first sign after 2. I would do last sign. I would also roll over, Michael, especially if there were a lot of base runners, every so many innings.
Fly ball left field. Colabello makes the play.
I'd say every couple innings, Michael, I would change it. I'd go to my catcher and say, okay, second sign. Next inning, I'd go last sign.
So it's the second sign. I mean, just if he puts it on 1 and 2, then it's a curve.
That's right. 1, 2.
And everything after the second sign
doesn't
is just
mean
window
anything.
dressing.
Yeah. But if you're constantly rolling over and you're changing it now, if, I don't know, between innings, Estrada might go to Martin and say, hey, look, I want to go for last sign. Or, first sign after 3. I mean, there's so many variables. There really is. And we were talking last night about with Roger Clemens with the wipes. Mm-hmm. I learned that here with Dave Stewart. Dave Stewart used to wipe as well.
Explain what wipe is.
Wipe meaning, so you get a sign, and instead of shaking to the sign, often you'll see multiple shakes for a pitcher. A batter will step out. And you talk about rhythm and timing and pace of the game. It's a pain. So you wipe your glove on your jersey.
So if the guy puts down a 1, wipe on the top is adding 2.
I would add on the jersey and subtract on the leg.
Right.
Not to get super complicated. He ends on a 1. I want a curveball. I wipe my shirt. I go from 1 to 2. It was 1 wipe. I want a slider. I wipe twice. I go from 2 to 3. And I got a slider. And there's no shaking. You've got your pitch because he knows with the wipes.
Ground ball to short. Goins. And the Yankees are retired 1-2-3 here in the top of the 4th inning. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Yankees 3, Toronto 0. Fourth inning, it's 3-0 Yankees as they try to even up the series at a game apiece. Lincoln scoreboard, 3-6-0 Yanks, 0-3-1 for the Blue Jays. It'll be Smoke, Pilar, and Colabello against Michael Pineda. Shift is on, 3 infielders on the right side. Smoke lined out to Gregorius at short in the second. And there's a strike. You always talk about prospects in baseball. Top prospect. Can't give away your prospects in trades. Justin Smoke was considered a can't miss. And he's missed so far. And I think baseball scouting is probably the most inexact science out there. So you could look great at AAA, and the jump here could just be too much.
And you know why it's inexact? Because you can't quantify what's going on between your ears. And I don't know if it actually is been the issue with Justin Smoke. He was a top prospect with the Rangers, went to the Mariners. But you look at his numbers, Michael, and I'm with you. He's, I guess, in his prime best years. 238 hitter with 20 home runs. The year before that, in 2012 with the Mariners, 217 with 19. They've given him chances. Past year, 202, 7 home runs. You know, you could evaluate bat speed, you could evaluate strength and arm strength and athleticism, but to hit a baseball consistently for 550 at bats at the pinnacle of this sport, not easy.
Fly ball, deep right center. Drifting back is Ellsbury to retire Pilar for the second out.
When I say that, because the sabermetric world is prominent in baseball, which is good. I think there are certain statistics now that really define even more of the minutia to what they're actually looking at. But in the end, heart, guts, what's going on between the 6 inches between your ears, that separates consistent mediocre players to good players to great players. It really does.
Here's Colabello. Playing dead pull. 3 infielders on the left side. There's a strike. It's funny you say that, though, because those that are really proponents of sabermetric evaluation, they don't really take the stomach and the brain into account that much.
Which is the reason
it's not quantifiable.
Right. And that's why when you look at a guy like Justin Smoke, you say, wow, 6'4", 220. This guy's terrific. High draft pick. You love all of his tools. But then, keep narrowing it down. That's why now, this nutritionists and strength coaches and psychology coaches and all of it. It's so specific at high-level training.
Ground ball to Petit. And that'll do it. A 1-2-3 inning for Michael Pineda, who settled down after that rocky third. We go to the fifth. It's 3-0 Yanks. take a look at the National League Central. Cardinals seem like they're pulling away. The Cubs 5.5 out, Reds 7, Pirates 7, and the Brewers have a new manager, Craig Counsell, who's actually from Milwaukee, and that job means a great deal to him. But they actually beat Kershaw last night. Ron Renneke, his team failed in September of last year and then just couldn't get off to a good start.
Right? I mean, with that epic failure down the stretch, they were the longest first place team all year.
Bigelow T scoreboard 3-0 top of the 5th, and they fired him, and he has this year and next year on his contract too.
Didn't they renew him in March for 16? Yes, his contract not renewed. They picked up his option for 16 in March.
Here's Ellsbury. Fouled away.
Well, unfortunately, managers take the fall when you're struggling in every facet on your team, and that's what the Brewers have done.
The 0-1. Another base hit for Jacoby Ellsbury. He is on fire. He's 3 for 3 tonight, and now 18 for his last 33.
Just so smooth. Watch how compact, leg kick down, not trying to do a whole lot. This ball is running down and away from him, stays middle of the field. That is a red hot hitter right there. Watch this, nice through the zone, beautiful. Doing his job, getting on base, table setter, leadoff hitter. Well done.
He's now hitting .365. Last year he hit .271 for the whole season. And the only American League qualifier with a larger batting average increase from last season is the Orioles' Adam Jones, coming into tonight 121 points from 281 to a league-leading 402, and the Orioles are playing the Mets tonight. Gardner also hot, 1 for 2. Hitting .316. Fire alarm going off here in the Rogers Center. Also an alarm going off in the bullpen since Estrada is closing in on 75 pitches, which was supposed to be his limit. Scorched toward left center, but Pilar can play with anybody out there, and he runs it down for the first out. Well, he's pretty good defensively.
Yeah, he is. He was in left field. Watch the ground he makes up. This ball is a tailing fly ball and easily gets to it. Kevin Pilar has been a highlight reel for this Toronto Blue Jay team.
Crowd boos for A-Rod, who had a 2-run double in the first inning, and then skied out to center in the third. Jeff Francis looks like he's ready. Ellsbury goes, and Martin could not get a grip on the baseball. Another stolen base for Ellsbury, so 3 for 3, an RBI, a run scored, 2 stolen bases. Filling a lot of columns.
A heck of a night. This is a tough pitch for Russell Martin. That's a 59-foot changeup. Does not get the transfer. Even if he did, I believe Ellsbury would have had this. This is a tough ball in the dirt. Good pitch to run on. Russell Martin never got the ball.
So Martin has a talk with Estrada. This chiropractic telecast is presented by authority of the New York Yankees. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. Two straight cities, the Yankees have had fire alarms go off at Fenway, and here at Skydome, it could be that Ellsbury's so hot. Thanks. Now here with the play-by-play is Al Leiter. I've always wondered about, though, Al, as a Chase Ellsbury bat. So you have the fire alarms go off at Fenway. Nobody does anything.
Right.
They just get annoyed by it. You have the fire alarms here. Nobody's doing anything. Sometimes people sleep through fire alarms in hotels. I mean, fire alarms go off for a reason.
Could be a false alarm. Easy to walk by one of those things and pull it, right?
I've never done it.
I haven't either, but I see them on the wall.
Soft ground ball to short. Goins gets A-Rod. Moving to third is Ellsbury. Here's Teixeira. Cracked to right center. Going back, Pilar looking up. See ya. A long 2-run home run for Mark Teixeira. His 10th home run of the year, and the Yankees lead 5-0. Oh, did he crush that?
Well, you said it right off the bat. You talk about solid contact. That was a no-doubter. Mentioned Marco Estrada led baseball with home runs. That is a fastball down the middle, and he knew it. Teixeira knew it. 10th home run on the year. And that'll be all for Marco Estrada.
Estrada threw 79 pitches, 4 over what they wanted him to throw. So John Gibbons makes the Verizon call to the bullpen. He's going to call on the left-hander Jeff Francis to face Brian McCann. Yankees lead this one 5-0. Some of what added up to 5-0 for the Yankees as Jeff Francis deals a strike to Brian McCann. That one's tapped. Back to Francis, quickly up the mound. He gets McCann, and that will do it. But the Yankees get 2 runs on 2 hits. The big blow, Teixeira's home run. We're halfway through 5-0 Yankees.
Weekday afternoons on Yes, join Michael Kay, Don LaGreca, and Ryan Rucco for their very entertaining take on the hottest sports headlines. Plus, hear interviews with the biggest names in New York sports and beyond. Catch the Michael Kay Show every weekday at 3 p.m. right here on Yes.
You love that show, don't you?
Yeah, it's good.
We go to the bottom of the fifth. 5-0 Yankees. And Goins takes a strike. No, takes the ball outside. The home run, you see the Big OT scoreboard, 5-0 Yanks. The home run by Teixeira, Al.
Yes.
His 373rd home run lifetime. That ties Carlos Beltran for fourth place on the all-time list.
Wow.
Beltran's looking for his first this year. Teixeira has 10. There's a strike. And there's the all-time list. Mickey sits atop. And Eddie Murray, Chipper Jones, and Beltran and Teixeira tied.
And you talk about making them count, Michael. He's got 18 hits on the year. 10 of them are home runs. And add the 5 doubles, 15 extra base hits of his 18 hits.
Amazing.
It really is. That is a home run hitter.
Goins goes down on strikes.
That is a nasty slider for Michael Pineda. Watch the break here. See the hand off the center of the ball, and then that tight slider spin starts at about belt high, and you see down in the dirt. Excellent pitch. Ooh, the break on that.
Here's Ezekiel Carrera. You can see that Pineda working a little bit quicker now. Seems to have more confidence and looks a little sharper than he did the first couple of innings. He's retired 5 in a row. There goes the bat.
Everybody okay? Laughing.
Count 2-2. Weak wave there. The out is made at first. Strikeout, put out 2-3.
Similar pitch that he threw to Goins. This is a nasty slider. Same pitch. As he just struck out Goins on. Carrera cannot hold up. You see the break on this. Tough pitch. You talk about the increased usage that Michael Pineda's used with his slider has always been there, but now his changeup. You talk about the complement of both. Coming into tonight's outing on the slider, Major League hitters are batting .208.
Count 1-0 on Devin Travis, who's 0 for 2 tonight.
Yeah, you mentioned about the tempo and pace, Michael. That is true. Pitchers that are struggling, you see them be a little more lethargic. We saw Estrada, how he was kind of walking around. Your fielders are on their heels. It's just not as crisp. In the third inning, Pineda was a little bit more deliberate. Here he's attacking. Attack the zone. And that's Pineda's MO. Strikes, get ahead, uses his changeup slider combination.
This is only the second 3-ball count tonight for Pineda. The other, he walked Carrera to start off the third. High fly ball, deep center on the run. Ellsbury, he turns and he's going to play it off the base of the wall. Travis at second with a 2-out double.
Devin Travis, you talk about a pickup by the Toronto Blue Jays. Great pickup, that fastball on the inside part of the plate, driving it over Ellsbury's head. Leading in most every offensive category, Devin Travis in the American League. You see Ellsbury pulling up on their ball, hitting off the bottom of the wall, easily getting in for a double.
Donaldson fouls it back. 94-mile-an-hour fastball.
To his last at bat, he just missed what was a hanging slider. Frustrated, threw the bat down. He threw a breaking ball. I thought Donaldson was looking all speed last night against Whitley. Make sure that pitch is down off the plate.
Count 0-2 on Donaldson.
This is the pitch right here. He's to right-handers and left-handers, but burying that slider down off the plate. Donaldson got 2 good hacks on the fastball. He's got 2 pitches here to expand somewhere off the plate.
The 0-2. Inside, 1-2. Does a nice job in these situations. 333, runners in scoring position. In his career, 2 outs and runners in scoring position, 312. That's an impressive number. The 1-2. 2-2.
So smart, Brian McCann, just feeling and sensing what a hitter's trying to do. I mentioned his previous at bat where he popped up a slider away. McCann, that was doubling up, trying to double up with 2 fastballs in. Let's see if he goes away with the slider put away pitch. Well, Pineda did not want that pitch. He shook him off.
Grounded to third. Petit gets Donaldson. And that'll do it in the fifth. No runs a hit, no errors, one man left through 5. It's 5-0 Yankees. And the starting pitcher is brought to you by Verizon Fios, the fastest, most reliable internet. CC Sabathia looks for his first win. Mark Burley does not do well against the Yankees. 3-2, almost a 7 ERA. Our coverage will begin at 6 p.m. on Yes First Pitch right around 7:08. Yankees are hoping that's the rubber game, as Carlos Beltran leads off against Francis, and he will bat right-handed against the lefty. Carlos was 0 for 2 against Estrada from the left side. And a strike. Count 1-2. Still 2-2. Beltran, Drew, and Gregorius. So the Yankees get rid of the starter Estrada now into the Blue Jays bullpen, which is not one of the strengths of the team.
Yeah, 13th in the American League, Michael, and that has been an issue. Brett Cecil is the closer now. They actually, Cecil was the closer of their first series at Yankee Stadium, and then they inserted Miguel Castro, who's now sent to the minor leagues. They have some arms down there, but they haven't found a rhythm.
Grounded to Donaldson. He gets a nice hop. One away.
I mean, you look at the luxury of what Joe Girardi has with the very strong, one of the best bullpens in baseball. You can argue Kansas City is right there, of having not just the two guys that we see, Betances and Miller, but the depth of what Joe could go to. And it's been good. It's been very good. You look at John Gibbons, and he's not sure where to go, and who is his. You ask him who's 7th, who's 8th. 9th right now is Brett Cecil, but he's not sure. It's the hot hand.
Steve Delabar up. It always seems like you're searching. I remember something that Don Mattingly told me when he first got the Dodger job. He said nothing makes a manager look worse and get second guessed more than bring a guy in the bullpen who doesn't do the job. He said, you can have all the right reasons, but if he doesn't do the job, you were wrong for bringing him in. He says, and nothing gets you second-guessed more.
Right. Because, ultimately, isn't that the biggest decision? I mean, is it really hit and run, and is it really stealing or bunting? Especially in the American League, very little of that goes on. Your biggest decision and most agonizing is when to pull a starter. You look last night, Chase Whitley, 90 pitches, 7 innings. Chris Martin's been great. The bullpen's been great. Brings him in, gets a little trouble. Betances gives up a little jam shot. Ties the game.
That's a big hit for Drew, snapping an 0 for 14 and a 3 for 35.
I said about the splits, it's really unusual. The lefty hitters for the Yankees against left-handed pitching is flipped. Drew 105 batting average against right-handed pitchers. Lefties 294, almost 300. Here he just whacked a single to left field off a lefty. You look at Gardner and Ellsbury, over 400 against lefties. And that tells me, Michael, left-handed hitters that can hit left-handed pitchers, they stay in there and they do what we just saw with Stephen Drew, go the other way. Lefty pitchers, it's hard for them to pitch inside consistently, and they have a breaking ball that goes away. So left-handed batters that are comfortable, they stay in there, and they really look to go left center opposite field.
Francis sets. Missed outside. 2-2.
See Russell Martin look back at the home plate umpire, Ed Hickox. Umpires don't like that. Watch this pitch right here. You see Martin setting up. Ball looks like it cuts across the plate. I guess he got it down. That had plate coverage. It was over the plate, clearly.
2-2. Let's see if they turn 2. There's 1. And there's 2. Double play, 6-6-3 to retire Gregorius and the Yankees. No runs a hit, no errors. Because of the DP, nobody left. We go to the bottom of the 6th. 5-0 Yanks.
For Michael Pineda, I'll tell you what, he's cruising. He did have a little bump in the road in the third inning. But here, that's a slider grip. And this has basically been his strikeout pitch tonight. 3 of his 4 strikeouts, Edwin Encarnacion. A harder slider. Ryan Goins, look at the break on that. Down and in dip. Same as Ezekiel Carrera, down and in. He also a 4th strikeout. Justin Smoke ended up looking at a fastball. Good slider, changeup combination for Pineda.
Russell Martin takes inside.
I think that's the pitch right there that's also helped elevate Michael Pineda to even have. Watch this ball here. This is a fastball, but watch the ball cut at the very end. He's got, see the little movement? Just enough. Russell Martin thinks he has it on the barrel and ends up being off the end of the bat. And it's moving only about 2 or 3 inches. That's his fastball. An 88-mile-an-hour changeup. So you see the cross effect that Pineda is so good at. Cut fastball 92 away, and then a changeup with down and in action. Really tough. He can go both ways. You go high fastball here or slider away. Gonna throw slider. Oh.
Got up to 95 miles an hour.
I said slider, Michael. I know last night we were talking about Chase Whitley and multiple signs with nobody on base. That ball is fastball, middle to plate, 95. That's that little extra giddy up where you could get away with a mistake. You're throwing 90 miles an hour. Now, that should be a changeup there. Wiggle is a change. Yep. So his changeup, which is really hard. I mean, you look at King Felix, guys with really good changeups in late action. It's in that 88, 89. See that circle change? Okay and down. So he's got the variation of only 5 miles an hour, which really doesn't have that much separation.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Martin 2 doubles against Pineda so far tonight. But this time he swings and misses to lead off the 6th with a strikeout.
Wow, nasty, shaking his head. Russell Martin has really used all of his weapons here. Now this is a 94 mile an hour. See how his hand is a little off center? See how that ball is circling in kind of a cement mixer turn? It's not the over the top 12 to 6 spin. Really tough, but the velocity's at 94. So he's got different speeds and locations of movement. Tough pitch.
There's a strike. Encarnacion 0 for 2. Big at bat for Encarnacion in the 3rd. 2nd and 3rd, 2 outs. But a nice running catch by Gardner right near the line ended the inning. Fastball strike on the inside corner, 0-2.
Yeah, he's in a good locked in place right now. Pineda is 2 good pitches, slider away and then fastball in. Ahead in the count, can expand. He's got 3 different pitches. Especially against a guy like Encarnacion, that 2-run homer that Mark Teixeira hit in the 5th inning. It changes the relaxed mindset of the pitcher here. He knows he's got a big lead. You got a home run hitter. Don't want to walk him.
So the count full on Encarnacion. Yankees up 5-0. They have 9 hits. Blue Jays with 4. Smoke is on deck. And the righty deals. Up the middle, a base hit.
They mentioned Encarnacion getting hot. Batista's not in there. Encarnacion really has been a Yankee killer. This is a pitch. Don't mind this at all. I'd much rather have this as a pitcher, get a base hit than walk the hitter, make him earn it. A little fastball down the way. Good hitting by Edwin Encarnacion. We talk about getting hot. In the last 7 games, he's .333. Starting to heat up. That .217 batting average that he has for the season is deceiving.
Count 1-0 to Smoke. Lined out to Gregorius and struck out. Grounded, fair. Teixeira gets Encarnacion on a rundown. Not much of a rundown as he's tagged out by Gregorius. So the double play is scored 3-6. No runs a hit, nobody left. Let's go to the 7th.
Let's take a look at the game changer presented by T-Mobile. Jacoby Ellsbury. I mean, look what he's done. I mean, lead off the game with base hit, scores a run on A-Rod's double, down the line, left field, steals a bag, scores the 3rd run on the home run by Teixeira, base hit. I mean, you talk about a game. He went into 347 batting average coming into today's game. He's up to 365. What a game. 3 for 3 so far.
Gregorio Petit leads off and swings through a Delabar fastball. So Steve Delabar, the new pitcher for the Toronto Blue Jays. 9 games in AAA Buffalo. Five 0 Yankees as we start the 7th. Petit, Ellsbury, and Gardner. 9-1-2. Ground ball to 3rd. Nice hop for Donaldson. 1 away. And here is the man Al just talked about. Gave him an early game changer, Jacoby Ellsbury. 3 for 3, 2 stolen bases, 2 runs scored, and a ribby. Eight-game hitting streak, and this is what he's done during the streak. 18 for 33. And they will finally retire him tonight. 2 down. Brett Gardner 1 for 3, doubled and scored in the first, and 2 fly balls to center. 95-mile-an-hour fastball for a strike. Gardner likes hitting here at Rogers Center. Coming into this game, 348. The highest average all time for any Yankee player at this park with a minimum of 100 at-bats. In fact, the only Yankee to have an over 300 batting average here at Rogers Center, other than Gardner, is Derek Jeter. And he was exactly 300.
But a good place to hit, too.
Yeah, odd. And Gardner walks.
Yeah, 2-out walk. Good story, Steve Delabar. Remember a few years ago, out of baseball, 2009 and 10, he broke his elbow. Had a metal plate with 9 screws put in. Came back a couple years ago. He was consistently 95 to 100 miles an hour in 2013. Good to see him back in the big leagues.
Here's A-Rod. He started the scoring with a 2-run double in the first on a fly ball to center and a ground ball to short. Fouled off the end of the bat. 0-1. A-Rod checking to see if he broke the bat. Count 1-1. Yankees 9 hits, Blue Jays with 5. Yankees have a 5-0 lead.
Yeah, backdoor slider here that was not intentional. See the ball just spinning. That ball's supposed to go away and just spins and stays inside. Not the intention of that pitch. It's supposed to go down and away.
The 2-1. Fly ball, right field. Ezekiel Carrera is there, and he'll put it away for the final out of the 7th. No runs, no hits, and 1 man left. The end of 6 1/2. Time for the 7th inning stretch. 5-0 Yanks. We'll hear from Bob and Jack and Kenny Singleton and also Meredith Maragovitz a little bit later on, so stick around for that. Kevin Pillar will lead off against Michael Pineda. Popped up, foul territory. You know, Bob has something to say right now, so let's check out what Bob has to say in the studio. Right, Bob will be following that. We all will as well. So the Red Sox trying to snap out of I believe it's a 4-game losing streak. And that brings up Colabello.
Pitching, right? You look at the East. Michael, the Toronto Blue Jays right in front of us. They're in the bottom in starters ERA. The Orioles, same. The Red Sox. Tampa Bay, ERA-wise, they got the best ERA in baseball.
And Tampa Bay got some bad news today. Alex Cobb has a slight tear in the ligament, and he's going to try to do what Tanaka's trying to do. He's going to try to pitch through it without having surgery.
Yeah, I saw that. Boy, not even with Alex Cobb. I mean, you talk about the lineage of great pitchers that have gone through there the last 5, 6, 7 years.
Colabello swings and misses. And what Jack has said is true. I mean, we keep talking about the Yankee bullpen now.
Yep.
The one danger is that they're pitching too much, and you've got to get length out of your starters. So it's imperative that Pineda gets through this inning and maybe even give them a couple outs in the 8th inning, because you can't continue to get 9 outs out of your bullpen every night. Sooner or later, they'll crack.
I'm with you. Look, we're only in May. They have the 3rd most innings of Major League Baseball.
Goins hits one deep to left, backing up Gardner, still back on the track, makes the play at the wall for the final out of the inning as Pineda retires the Blue Jays in order 1, 2, 3. We're going to the 8th, 5-0 Yankees. Welcome back to Rogers Center as we go to the 8th inning. 5-0 Yankees on the Hyundai scoreboard. So Michael Pineda still has that wrap around his arm. I don't think he's received the handshake from Joe Girardi or Larry Rothschild, so they'll send him out to pitch the 8th, and that's a good sign as he's breaking new ground here as he tries to go 4-0. No one warming in the Yankee pen. New pitcher for the Blue Jays is Chad Jenkins, and he's going to face Mark Teixeira, who clubbed his 10th home run of the year, a 2-run shot in the 5th inning, gave the Yankees a little more breathing room.
Talking about that possible extra inning. You see the numbers. Chad Jenkins down in AAA Buffalo. That was a 5-pitch inning, Michael. I'd absolutely send him out again. If you know, we were talking about the innings that the bullpens had over this early going, and they've been dominant. 92 innings so far. The Yankee relievers have pitched. Only the Rangers and the Red Sox have pitched more.
Meredith has more on the Yankees bullpen availability. Meredith?
And Al, as you were talking about, it would help out a lot to save that bullpen a little bit. And George, we're already saying prior to the game he does not want to use Dylan Betances, so that could be part of the reason he's pushing Pineda a little bit more, sending him out there potentially for that 8th inning. Betances has been pretty good lately, but he's pitched 15 1/3 innings so far, and Joe Girardi, especially early on, does not like to use his guys 3 days in a row, or in the case of Betances, 4 in 5 days.
You can look at last night's loss, and you can say that's a loss that you can hang on the fact that the bullpen's pitched too much. They did not have Miller available. He's trying to steal the 8th inning with Chris Martin because he doesn't want to get 6 out with Betances. He ends up having to bring Betances in to get the 2 outs, and they end up not winning the game. And it comes down to this cliched saying, Al, sometimes you have to lose the battle to win the war. You can't burn out pitchers and use them all the time. And the Yankees have to find different ways, and they've got to get some length out of their starters.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, you look at the, we'll see how this plays out, but you look at the performance that Pineda's had. I mean, other than his 3rd inning, where it was a high pitch count, he's cruised. Absolutely. He had 88 pitches at the end of the 6th inning. He threw 5 pitches in the 7th inning with a strikeout. So at 93, I know the 100 pitch count, the bells go off, everybody, scrambles to get somebody up. Watch the game here. 5-0. You have a pitcher that's in control. He had 1 inning where it looked a little out of sorts. He's got a 5-hit shutout.
And there's a strike to McCann. Count 3-1. And he walks Brian McCann. Fly ball left field. Colabello retires Beltran, who is 0 for 4 tonight, as McCann heads back to first. Stephen Drew. Base hit his last time up, 1 for 3. And his hit came against the lefty. Al tells you he struggles against righties. He's 0 for his last 22 against right-handed pitchers. Now, make sense of that.
Pretty amazing. And over 300 now. He got the base hit off of Francis. He was 294 coming in. Well, right-handers have action, either change up going down and away and that cutter in. Fastball down the middle, beat the shift.
So just like that, he breaks his 0 for 22 against righty pitchers, and he's 2 for 4 tonight.
Ground balls beat the shift. Now this is a ground ball. I mean, it's a hot smash, but you see where it landed. Line drives to the outfield. If the shift's on, isn't beating the shift. These metrics of spray charts are based on ground balls.
Finally has a little reason to smile, and here is D.D. Gregorius 0 for 3 tonight for the Yankees shortstop. Strikeout, fly out to left, and a 6-6-3 double play ground ball. Martin will go out and talk with Chad Jenkins as they try to hold it right here at 5-0.
Yeah, now with the runner at second base, a new pitcher. They have different signs. Russell Martin coming out with Chad Jenkins, who just got called up from Buffalo AAA. Getting on the same page. You look at a guy like Chad Jenkins, they're all over baseball, where he's just kind of that serviceable guy that gets called up and down. Last year he had 6 different stints with the Blue Jays in 21 appearances and did a nice job.
Pitch up and away to Didi. That's right. Yankees 3 for 6 tonight with runners in scoring position.
Take that every night.
Two and one, first and second, 2 outs. There's a base hit to right center field for Gregorius. McCann scores. Moving to third is Drew. It's an RBI single for the Yankees shortstop at 6-0 Bombers. And fans, the Yankees have scored 6 runs, so log on to papajohns.com tomorrow for 50% off your online regular menu price order. Use promo code Yankee6 at papajohns.com.
Well, Didi Gregorius joining in, and we talk about it, Michael, about guys struggling and how long you go with them. Hitting is, you just mentioned about runners in scoring position. It takes a while, obviously, and how long you stick with a guy and the talent of your players has to be more than just a handful of at bats. I don't know what it is. Is it 100 bats? Is it 75? Is it 125 at bats?
I think the longer your resume, the more at bats.
Well, no, that's true. I mean, if you've been around a long time, you just look at it. You mentioned earlier in the game, you look at the back of the baseball card, the proverbial card, and see what they've done.
Foul back here.
And it helps when you win. The Yankees in first place, 16-10. Have more time to have guys work things out and figure it out.
David Carpenter is up for the Yanks. And the 0-2. Just got out of the way.
As Ken Singleton likes to say, look at him.
For sure.
Two-seamer running in. Petit getting out of the way.
I bet you Kenny said that watching the game in the studio right now.
I bet he did.
First and third, 2 outs. 1 run in, top of the 8th inning. Just missed.
Seed fastball away off the plate.
All the way.
Does he look like Chris Chambliss? Look at that. We had a
Certain
shot on the bench
angles, he really
yesterday,
does.
right?
Yep.
The mustache. Everybody's got the mustache going. 76. Mark Littell walk off.
On the other side.
That's right.
2-2. Now that hit the bat.
They had him swinging first base umpire.
And he is he's out.
Yeah.
Not only do I think they had him swinging, but I think that the ball went off the bat as well as the hand. And he is out 2-3 to end the inning. Adding insult to injury. Let's see where it got him. Top of the bat?
Hand.
To the backhand. Yankees score a run. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th, take a closer look. Teat's going to stay in the game. Let's take another look at this, Al.
Boy, you know, from up here, it sounded like the crack of the bat. I mean, it looked like it hits his hand flush. Sure, the backhand, wrist, and then hits his leg. And first base umpire Toby Basner called him on the swing. You talk about insult to injury.
Yeah, they threw the ball to first base, and obviously it didn't hit the bat. It sounded like it did. Hit his leg, so he's definitely out on the strikeout. And the put out is 2-3. But he stays in the game. Now Beltran's out of the game. Chris Young takes over in right. And that seems to be what Joe does late in games.
Saw it last night.
Hyundai scoreboard 6-0 Yankees. Now this is probably, we'll revisit what we said earlier, the last game up here for Gregorio Petit, because Jose Perella is in the building coming up the DL, and if you read the tea leaves, that's probably who he's taking over for. Ground ball to Gregorius. On away. Carrera retired.
Well, Petit would be the most expendable, right? I mean, he's options left.
And they also both do the same job.
Yes.
Strike to Travis.
I know it's only early going, but Devin Travis, Michael, has looked great. I mean, rookie of the year kind of stuff. He was traded for Anthony Gose. Gose now in Detroit. Second base has not been a good spot for the Blue Jays the last few years. 2012 to 14, 229 batting average. This guy's almost at the tops of every category for American League rookies.
I'll talk about that play right there. People don't realize how difficult that is. You come down the mound when you deliver, and then you have to back up and keep your balance. That was not as easy a play as a soft grounder would make you think.
Well, and also, too, I mean, you've got goofy hop, and it lands on the dirt exactly as you just described it. He does backpedal. I mean, for one, you're just glad it's not a hot smash line drive. But with, here, you have a big man. Here, watch his delivery. Your momentum is toward home plate.
And then going back and up and back down.
Yeah. I mean, you're so close to home plate after you let go. 54 feet.
Donaldson grounds one right side, grabbed there by Drew, and a 1-2-3 inning from Michael Pineda. He gives the Yankees 8 shutout innings, throws 101 pitches. We go to the ninth, 6-0 Yanks. Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by People's United Bank and A, putting the power of know-how to work for you. By Geico, 15 minutes can save you 15% or more on car insurance, and by your Tri-Honda dealers. Hurry to your local Tri-Honda dealer for great deals of 2015 models. The streets are quiet outside Rogers Center, and the crowd is quiet as well, as the Blue Jays have done very little. Gregorio Petit with an ice bag on his hand. Now on the Petit strikeout, there is no put out at second, because once it hit his leg, it was a dead ball. So it's not a put out at first, not a 2-3. So the put out just goes to Russell Martin catching the strike. So if you're scoring at home, that's how you do it. Just a strikeout for Petit and a little bit of a bruise as well. Jenkins in his second inning of work will deal to Ellsbury outside 1-0.
And what a performance by Michael Pineda. Other than one inning where there was a little hiccup. Got through the 8 innings, 5 hits, no runs. Very impressive.
3-2 count on Ellsbury. 3 for 4 today. Top of the Yankee order against Jenkins. 6-0 Yanks. High fly ball, center field. Pilar is there for the first out.
With the good starting pitching from Michael Pineda, and the Yankees coming right out hitting with Ellsbury single, Gardner double, A-Rod double. Yankees up 2-0 in the blink of an eye. Big 2-run homer by Mark Teixeira.
One and one. Gardner 1 for 3 with a walk, double and a run scored. Two. Two pitch. Missed outside.
Good eye battling here. 6-0 game. Brett Gardner giving tough at bats every pitch. Don't throw away at bats.
And he did not like that. You could hear from up here. Brett's going, "Come on, man." He did not think that was strike 3.
He's going to think it's away, and he's right. That ball is at least 3 inches outside. Ed Hickok's the home plate umpire, ringing him up. That ball is off the plate. Gardner's right.
Here's A-Rod. Gave the Yankees a 2-0 lead with a 2-run double in the first inning. Ellsbury single, Gardner doubled, and A-Rod doubled, and the Yankees have not looked back. There's the list. Tied with Mays, 4th place, 660.
Six to nothing, 2-1 count. Let's get a cookie here. 2 sliders in a row. Fastball away.
Fly ball, right field. Carrera back. Makes the play. And that will do it. Yankees go down in order. Bottom of the ninth coming up. Yankees leading 6-0. Loud. Catch the WB Mason postgame. Bob Lorenz, Jack Curry, and Ken Singleton are back in our studios to give you expert analysis of all tonight's Keys plays. Plus, get instant reaction straight from the players in the clubhouse from Meredith Morakovic. It's all coming up right here on Yes. Hey, major props, Al.
Yeah.
In 2 games here in Toronto, the Yankees starters 15 shutout innings. You can't ask for much more than that.
Oh, gosh, no. I mean, you talk about getting length. The starting rotation has been good, very good. When you think about the possibilities of the what-ifs, and with Tanaka being down now. Chase Whitley, I know it's been 2 good starts.
See Alex Rodriguez moving from DH to third. Petit, probably the hand swelled up, so he's out of the game. Also coming into the game is David Carpenter, who will now be batting in the number 9 spot in the order. The Yankees hoping that does not come up. And that's what Carpenter's done in the 10 games he's appeared this year.
Another go-to viable arm for Joe Girardi. You know, we keep talking about Andrew Miller and Dellin Betances, but he's got depth. This is a very good bullpen. And power arms, too. Talk about strikeout, swing, and miss.
Martin fouls it off.
It's not even close, Michael. The strikeouts from the Yankee bullpen, 106 strikeouts. The Dodgers are second with 93.
Fly ball deep left. Gardner back on the track at the wall. See ya. Home run, Russell Martin. And the Blue Jays are on the board at 6-1 Yanks.
Well, David Carpenter, fastball, tries to get in on Russell Martin. Not in enough. Russell Martin's 6th home run on the season. Big hit down the line. Ended up scoring last night 2 runs, helping the Blue Jays win. Solo home run here in the 9th.
Encarnacion takes low. Grounded to Gregorius. And he gets Encarnacion, who is 1 for 4 tonight. Smoke hits a high fly ball deep to left. Backing up Gardner on the track. He makes the play for the 2nd out.
Another healthy cut from Russell Martin hitting a home run at Encarnacion. Watching David Carpenter, you know, while he's got plus velocity, 96, 97, all heaters, you could see it is. Here it is hit. Fastball running down and away. See Justin Smoke just getting it off the end of the bat. It's a good swing right there. There's his first breaking ball. I don't care how hard you throw, and David Carpenter's got a very good arm. Gotta create some doubt in hitters' minds. You have to have another pitch that hitters know that you can throw for strikes and will go to. So there are 2 pitches in a row. Brian McCann calling the slider. It's all right, even though he missed twice.
.96 miles an hour with 3-0.
Yeah. I mean, it's a feel too. When you come in and pitch sporadically or every few days. This is his 11th game. David Carpenter has done a nice job, 92 third innings, especially breaking balls at field.
And he walks Pilar. You don't need to be doing that when you're leading the game 6-1 and Girardi has to go to the bullpen.
Well, especially when you get a little closer and you got to get Andrew Miller up. You know, you don't want, if you want it to be a complete rest.
And this is not, once he starts to throw, it's not a complete rest. I mean, it's a 5-run lead. But you want to grab every win you can. I guess I'm not sure that he can get these outs. That's a fly ball to deep right. Backing up is Young, and it's in the seat foul.
Here's the warming up, and I'm with you, but you know, again, you're in a ballpark that there's a lot of home runs that are served up, and you know, he's got to think ahead. I mean, if it becomes a 6-3 game.
So Pilar takes second on defensive indifference. But Al, I mean, it does tell you you don't have much faith in this pitcher. Even if the ball's hit out, you still have a 3-1 lead. Then you get him up. Now you got him up.
Right.
Fly ball deep center, and it's going to be over the head of Ellsbury, and it bounces over the wall for a double. That'll score Pilar. Colabello picks up an RBI, and it's 6-2 Yanks.
Now it becomes hurry up. Rapid fire. Shot over Ellsbury's head, ends up going over the fence. Real double by Colabello.
Here's Ryan Goins. And the pitch. 1-0. Well, if he loses Goins, then he's going to bring in Miller because it becomes a save situation. Tying run would be on deck. Bautista's on deck now. But he would not be the tying run. The guy on deck after him would be the tying run. That would be Devin Travis. The 2-0. 3-0.
This is just overthrown fastballs by David Carpenter. Pitched himself into trouble. You get behind in the count, you really can't pitch. You end up being a thrower. Just hoping.
3-1 to Goins. Colabello just called up 2 for 4 today. He's at second. Yankees lead 6-2, bottom of the 9th inning. Line drive and a base hit to right field. Young fields will flip it into second. Scoring is Colabello. Goins picks up an RBI, and now it's 6-3 Yankees. And that is it for David Carpenter, who does not perform well at all and forces Girardi to use his closer in a game where he's up 6-0 going to the bottom of the 9th. why, obviously, he was warming up Andrew Miller. So that's why we have Andrew Miller warming up.
That's right. And I'll tell you what, take a look. Thursday night on Yes, don't miss a new episode of Center Stage with Michael Kay, presented by your Tri-State Land Rover retailers, as renowned actor Alan Alda discusses his roles in two of the biggest TV shows of all time, MASH and The West Wing. Catch the premiere Thursday at 11, only on Yes.
So Miller now has to get this out, and they have to fire up their closer in the game. They were leading 6-0 in the ninth. So Carpenter must be struggling. They must know he's not pinpoint, and that's why first sign of trouble, he got him up, and now looks like he did the right thing as he'll have to face Jose Bautista as a pinch hitter, and the tying run is on deck. There's a strike. Runner takes second on defensive indifference. Limited history against Miller, 2 for 5. One of the two left the park. (6-3) Yankees trying to hold on.
Slider. Here you see the slider from Andrew Miller. Kind of a low three-quarter, almost sidearm, but you see where it starts? Looks like it's a left-handed batter's box. It just keeps diving down and in. Good pitch.
Did he go? No, said Toby Basman.
That angle, I don't know. Breaking of the wrist, barrel goes in front of home plate.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Now 3-2. Here's the payoff. He walked him, and that brings up the tying run. Well, Devin Travis, 1 for 4. A double in the 5th inning, a rookie with 7 home runs. Remember, the Yankees had an 8-0 lead on Sunday, and the bullpen got it to the point where they had to use Miller then. And they had to work out a bases loaded jam in the bottom of the ninth to save the game 8-5. There's a strike.
2 good pitches right there so far. Devin Travis has shown he can hit a fastball. Anything up in the zone especially. First pitch was a ball slider. He came back with that sweeping slider across the plate. See where Brian McCann catches it.
Fly ball right field. This should do it. Young is there, and the Yankees win 6-3. And that is a sigh of relief there for Joe Girardi. Doesn't seem like there's much elation at all, as once again Andrew Miller closes it out. The Blue Jays sent 8 men to the plate in the 9th inning, and they actually bring the tying run to the plate, but they lose this one 6-3. And Jacoby Ellsbury in the middle of it again with 3 hits. Michael Pineda was outstanding. Another home run for Mark Teixeira, 10 on the year for him. A lot of stuff to talk about. We'll do it, then Bob and Jack and Kenny will do it as well. And right now we will check in with those 3 men as they set the table for the rest of the evening. Guys?